We made lots of mistakes when we were in government. I mean, that's just the nature of things. It's hard, and sometimes you make a judgment which doesn't turn out to quite work out. And I think if you could have done nothing about it, then that is just something which you have to have the confidence to explain and talk about, but it's just what it is. Sometimes you make mistakes where you know at the time you shouldn't be making that decision. Sometimes that can be logical and rational and intellectual. Those are the really bad mistakes. Sometimes though, it's going to be, in my experience, physical. That you're making a decision and you know something's not quite right. And it's as much about something you feel as something that you can sort of rationalise. And I've definitely been involved in mistakes where I knew at the time it didn't feel right. And I wish I'd rung an alarm bell. And so I think one thing I definitely learned is to listen to your instinct and the physical reaction. And even if you can't rationalise why you don't feel right about something, the times when you don't listen to those instincts, things can go wrong. The hardest mistakes though are actually the ones where you not only don't know you're making it, you assume that you aren't making a mistake. One of the things I talk to Harvard students about when I'm there now, is that there are certain assumptions which you learn, which shape your worldview. And it's when those assumptions turn out to be incorrect that you can make very big mistakes. But you couldn't spot them because it's part of your worldview, it's part of your underpinning assumptions. One good example, we assumed, this is politicians actually, in the 90s, that we'd had a globalisation of capital markets, money moved around the world. We were having a globalisation of trade, companies could locate their production not just in Britain, but in Spain or Poland or China, so you had to manage that. But we all assumed that labour, that people moving, was never going to happen on the scale. You had refugees, but the idea of people moving economically, in 2004, we didn't have any transitional controls on migration from Eastern Europe because our underpinning assumption was that while globalisation was about money and goods, it wasn't about people. Hugely mistaken assumption. We thought the forecasts of people coming were accurate when it said small thousands, it turned out to be hundreds of thousands. That was an underpinning assumption of mine, which shaped my worldview from my time as a student, shaped all of our view. And I think one thing you have to do all the time if you're a decision maker is not just think, what don't I know, or what's uncertain, or what do I feel uneasy about, but what are the things I feel are just obvious, it's clear, it's my underpinning view, it's always been that way. It's an assumption which I plan on, because when those go wrong is I think when you make your biggest mistakes.